Hello BookTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan, I am just one reader and I am here with a recommendation of a book that I think everyone has to read. Something that I enjoy doing here on my channel is precisely this, recommending books that maybe are not as popular right now or that people are not that aware of, books that are not on your radar, but I think you will love. And today's recommendation is none other than Evie Wyld's wonderful piece of work, All the Birds Singing. This is a spectacular novel. It tells the story of a woman called Jake, and which is interesting. It's interesting that she has a male name in the first place. That kind of gives, even from those little details, Evie Wyld is able to conjure up this sense of uneasiness, of something being slightly out of place or off kilter. And this is really that type of book. It's very ominous, sinister feeling. It has this sense of dread in its writing, and it's filled with menace. And from those little details, you can already tell that there's like something a little weird. Anyway. So it tells the story of this woman, Jake, and at the beginning of the book, she's living in this like little town in the coast of England, and she's living alone in like these weird circumstances that you can't quite understand. Again, it feels very sinister, very hazy, very sort of confusing. You know, it's the confusion, anxiety-inducing type of book as well. And she has this herd of sheep, and or like a flock of sheep. What do you call it? Well, she has some sheep, and something is out there killing her sheep. And it has this kind of weird, ominous tone. And we follow Jake as she goes along and tries to understand what is happening to the animals and who's or what's killing them. And then every other chapter, like this is told through alternating chapters. Like there's a plot A and a plot B, or like a plot line A and then B. And in each alternating chapter, we are following Jake's story in flashback, like what led her to live here alone in this town, living this weird isolated life. But the way that that particular story of flashbacks is told is in reverse. So it's a very interesting book structurally, because we are getting to see like fragments of what's going on. We get to see first what's going on in the present tense, and then we get to see everything that led Jake to be in this position, but we get to see that in reverse. So it's super interesting. Don't worry, it's not confusing, it's not hard to follow. It is a little hard to follow at first because you really get to experience this confusion by yourself. But once you understand what the author, Evie Wyld, is doing and the way that she's presenting information, it just becomes really accessible and easy to follow and digest. The story itself is very difficult to digest because it's a story. I don't want to spoil anything because this really is a book that is so sinister and so interesting to get to experience for the first time on your own. But I will say it's a story about abuse. It's a story about everything that leads you to be where you are, and all of the choices that, well, the choices that we make every single day are what makes us be who we are. So it's a story about so many wonderful topics, and but what I enjoyed the most were two things. Number one, the writing. The writing is superb. The writing is clean, but beautiful at the same time. It has a very distinct style. It's not flowery, but it's not minimalistic. It's just really, really precise. It's really thoughtful of using the correct language to create the sense of atmosphere and to give you the information that you need to have as a reader. The second thing that I loved about this book was the structure itself, the way that it plays with the format of, how it presents the story of Jake in these two separate storylines, and then one of those storylines is told in reverse order, so that the ending of the book is actually the beginning of Jake's life, is really wonderful. And it would, I think, in the hands of another author who was not as good, this could have been really disastrous, and it wasn't. So if you're looking for something eerie, kind of horrifying, but this is not really a horror book, it's a literary fiction novel telling the story of this woman's life and what happened to her that made her come to live this weird life. If you enjoy a book that is very atmospheric, very, like, the writing really exudes this kind of gothic suspense in a way, I think it's really wonderful. I gave Evie Wyld's All the Birds Singing 4 out of 5 stars, and I really think this is a book that should be more present on BookTube. So hopefully you will read it and we can make it come back to the surface and more people will fall in love with it. Thanks for watching. I am Just One Reader. Now get a copy of All the Birds Singing and I'll see you in the comments down below.